praise the Lord together, my friends. We have all awakened in God's shelter. Now we've come to praise His name together. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good my friend. My friend. Sing Hosanna. Hosanna. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Allah pa yaba Allah pa. In the sanctuary of our Lord's protection and the stronghold of our Lord's defense, with His love our spirits are illumined as we glorify His name, our hearts are blessed. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friend. My friend. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friend. My friend. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone in there in Zoom. Good morning, Ralph and Dell and Terry. Good morning. And Jeremiah, good morning. Hang on for a second here. I think I'm going to have to go turn that monitor up. We are without our producer director today, so I have to serve double duty. I think I want that just a little bit louder. Just a little bit. Blow on your instrument.
Pardon me?
Yeah, just so I just want to just the monitor up a little bit more so we can hear it a little better. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't even know if I think that's better. Okay.
Okay.
And good morning, everyone out there in Facebook land. We've got a couple of people watching it. Hi there, Brenda. How you doing, Brenda? We're glad you're here. Good morning. And I tell you, again, without Nini here to take care of these things she's so good at, I know she would not be pleased at how I have our Facebook shots camera set up. It's terrible, and so just give me a second here and try and get a slightly better angle. We're going to go with that. Although I don't know, Daryl, you're cut off, and now I'm going to be smudging into you. I showered, so we should be okay.
Just a little bit to the left.
A little bit this way?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that, but I was going to just scooch in just a little bit.
More.
A little more, you're going to be off, man.
Yeah.
You're going to be off.
More.
How is that?
That's better.
Okay. What else we got? Okay. Now that we've taken care of that little bit of technical stuff, how you doing, Daryl? You
I'm
doing
good.
Okay?
I'm good.
You don't mind me sitting this close to you. But I hope everyone is doing well this morning. So let's go ahead and start with a prayer, as we always like to. And we're continuing today to read more about Abdu'l-Baha. This just happens to be a prayer by Abdu'l-Baha. O Lord my God, assist thy loved ones to be firm in thy faith, to walk in thy ways, to be steadfast in thy cause. Give them thy grace to withstand the onslaught of self and passion, to follow the light of divine guidance. Thou art the powerful, the gracious, the self-subsisting, the bestower, the compassionate, the almighty, the all-bountiful. And again, this is a prayer from Abdu'l-Baha. And as I've done for the last couple of weeks, I thought maybe just to include something from Baha'u'llah. Admittedly, I'm kind of choosing based on things that I'm reading. And right now I'm reading in Gleanings, and I had that marked and I've already lost it. Where is it? Okay. And I may have actually read some of this last week, but I'm just going to kind of jump through here. This is from Gleanings 118. It says, lay not aside the fear of God, O kings of the earth. There's a section in Gleanings that has multiple excerpts from letters that Baha'u'llah wrote to governmental leaders, kings and so forth. Lay not aside the fear of God, O kings of the earth, and beware that ye transgress not the bounds which the Almighty hath fixed. Observe the injunctions laid upon you in his book, and take good heed not to overstep their limits. Be vigilant, that ye may not do injustice to anyone. Be it to the extent of a grain of mustard seed. Tread ye the path of justice, for this verily is the straight path. And I'm just going to jump through here a little bit. Heal the dissensions that divide you, and you will no longer be in need of any armaments, except what the protection of your cities and territories demandeth. Fear ye God, and take heed not to outstrip the bounds of moderation, and be numbered among the extravagant. Decide justly between men, and be ye the emblems of justice amongst them. Beware not to deal unjustly with anyone that appealeth to you and entereth beneath your shadow. Walk ye in the fear of God, and be of them that lead a goodly life. Rest not on your power, your armies, and treasures. Put your whole trust and confidence in God, who hath created you, and seek ye his help in all your affairs. Succor cometh from him alone. And so again, some of these things are just things that I feel like I was just saying to Daryl. Today's leaders would do well to follow this counsel. As you know, what we are reading, continuing to read, is Baha'u'llah in the New Era. Did I ask you how you doing, man?
No, you didn't. But that's okay.
Let's continue.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm okay.
I'll tell you what I'm glad
I
about.
can't complain.
The weather after these chilly days we've had. I'll probably be complaining this afternoon about it being too hot, but right now I think it's really, really, really nice. But yeah, I'm doing okay. I wish Nene were here, but yeah. We're continuing to read from, again, Baha'u'llah and the New Era, An Introduction to the Baha'i Faith by J.E. Esselmont. And we are continuing to read, and hopefully we'll finish today the section on the passing of Abdu'l-Baha. I just want to say, last week in one of the sections that we were reading, it mentioned Abdu'l-Baha's Salon. And I honestly, I know what Salon means in today's terms, and really kind of wondered what it meant, but didn't think to look for the answer. And then Nene asked me, what is this Salon? Like, obviously in today's terms, you'd figure, what was Abdu'l-Baha, a hairdresser? No. In the days that this book was written, Salon meant a special meeting room, usually in which Abdu'l-Baha would be receiving dignitaries and people from the upper echelons of society and so forth. And I got that information from a very knowledgeable historian of the faith, we are blessed to have her living locally here, Kathy Hoganson. So I just want to say thanks, Kathy, because I called her because I wondered, this can't mean what I think it means. And I was right in that it didn't mean what I thought it meant. But yeah, it meant, again, a special room that he would receive people from the upper echelons of society. So continuing on today, we are reading The Passing of Abdu'l-Baha. And it's good to have you back, Daryl. I didn't say that. It's good to have you back. So please.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yes.
The passing of Abdu'l-Baha. Abdu'l-Baha's manifold activities continued with little abatement despite increasing bodily weakness and weariness up till the last day or two of his life. On Friday, November 25th, 1921, he attended the noonday prayer at the mosque in Haifa and afterwards distributed alms to the poor with his own hands, as was his wont. After lunch, wont meaning W-O-N-T, meaning accustomed to. After lunch, he dictated some letters. When he had rested, he walked in the gardens and had a talk with the gardener. In the evening, he gave his blessing and counsel to a loved and faithful servant of the household who had been married that day, and afterwards he attended the usual meeting of the friends in his own salon. Less than 3 days later, about 1:30 a.m. on Monday, November 28th, he passed away so peacefully that to the two daughters watching by his bedside, it seemed as if he had gone quietly to sleep. The sad news soon spread throughout the town and was flashed over the wires to all parts of the world. The next morning, Tuesday, November 29th, the funeral took place. A funeral the like of which Haifa, nay Palestine itself, had never seen. So deep was the feeling that brought so many thousands of mourners together, representative of so many religions, races, and tongues. The High Commissioner, Sir Herbert Samuel, the governor of Jerusalem, the governor of Phoenicia, the chief officials of the government, the councils of various countries, resident in Haifa, the heads of the various religious communities, the notables of Palestine, Jews, Christians, Muslims, Druses, Egyptians, Greeks, Turks, Kurds, and a host of his American, European, and native friends, men, women, and children, both of high and low degree, all about 10,000 in number, mourning the loss of their beloved one. O God, my God, the people wailed with one accord, our Father has left us. Our Father has left us. They slowly wended their way up Mount Carmel, the vineyard of God. After 2 hours walking, they reached the garden of the tomb of the Bab. As the vast concourse pressed round, representatives of the various denominations, Muslims, Christians, and Jews, all hearts being ablaze with the fervent love of Abdul Baha. Some on the impulse of the moment, others prepared, raised their voices in eulogy and regret, paying their last homage of farewell to their loved one. So united were they in their acclamation of him as the wise educator and reconciler of the human race in this perplexed and somewhat sorrowful age that there seemed to be nothing left for the Baha'is to say. The Passing of Abdul Baha by Lady Blomfield and Shoghi Effendi. 9 speakers, all of them prominent representatives of Muslim, Christian, and Jewish communities, bore the eloquent and moving witness to their love and admiration of the pure and noble life which had just drawn to its close. Then the casket was slowly passed to its simple and hallowed resting place. Excuse me. Surely there was a fitting tribute to the memory of the one who had labored all his life for unity of religions, of races, of tongues, a tribute and also a proof that his life work had not been in vain, that the ideals of Baha'u'llah, which were his inspiration, nay, his very life, were already beginning to permeate the world and to break down the barriers of sect and caste that for centuries had alienated Muslim, Christian, Jew, and the other diverse factions into which the human family has been riven.
I'm going to stop you right there, Daryl, and I'm just going to make one simple little observation. He died on November 25th, 1921. Oh, no, 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 no. No, he didn't die on November 25th. It says he attended the noonday prayer. It was, what, 3 days after that he
Right.
died, November 28th. And the funeral was the very next day.
Yes, November 29th.
Imagine how revered Abdu'l-Baha must have been for, in 24 hours approximately, all of these people and dignitaries coming together to mourn his passing.
Yes.
I mean, that just shows.
10,000.
Yes, yeah, that just shows how beloved he was. How beloved he was. And I'm without giving a little spoiler alert. Well, maybe a little bit of a spoiler alert. If you've got the book, you know that further down we're going to be looking at the Station of Abdu'l-Baha, which is extremely enlightening, and even with the brevity here, as far as, okay, we have Baha'u'llah. So with Baha'u'llah, the actual manifestation of God, why do we need Abdu'l-Baha? And this explains it, and it gives so much insight. And I know that's not where we are now, but it's when we're reading about his writings and addresses and his station. The writings and addresses, I've read a lot of them, and yes, they are impressive. But when we look at the station of Abdu'l-Baha, I think it really shows certainly why we as Baha'is look up to him, but also why he was so revered in his lifetime. Yeah.
Well, that reverence is obvious would be obvious for you too, if 10,000 people knew about your passing in one day.
Yes, 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 yes.
In one day, 10,000.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to say, let's see, we see some people here.
So,
Because I have it turned this way. Good morning, Pam. Pam often joins us. And this is what, Evelyn? Good morning, Evelyn. So, anyway.
so
just wanted to say that.
his writings and addresses. The writings of Abdu'l-Baha are numerous and are mostly in the form of letters to believers and inquirers. A great many of his talks and addresses have been recorded, and many have been published. Of the thousands of pilgrims who have visited him at Akka and Haifa, a large number have written descriptions of their impressions, and many of these records are now available in printed form. His teachings are thus very completely preserved, and they cover a wide variety of subjects. With many of the problems of both East and West, he dealt more fully than his father had done, giving more detailed applications of the general principles laid down by Baha'u'llah. A number of his writings have not yet been translated into any Western language, but enough is already available to give deep and full knowledge of the more important principles of his teaching. He spoke Persian, Arabic, and Turkish. In his Western tours, his talks and addresses were always interpreted, obviously losing much of their beauty, eloquence, and force in the process. Yet such was the power of the Spirit which accompanied his words that all who heard him were impressed. This goes on to the station of Abdu'l-Baha. The unique station assigned to Abdu'l-Baha by the Blessed Perfection is indicated in the following passage written by the latter. When the ocean of my presence hath ebbed, and the book of my revelation is ended, turn your faces towards him whom God purposed, who hath branched from his ancient root. And again, refer ye whatsoever ye understand not in the book to him who hath branched from this mighty stock. Abdu'l-Baha himself wrote the following. In accordance with the explicit text of Kitab-i-Aqdas, Baha'u'llah hath made the center of the covenant the interpreter of his word, a covenant so firm and mighty that from the beginning of time until the present day, no religious dispensation hath produced its like. The very completeness of the servitude with which Abdu'l-Baha promulgated the faith of Baha'u'llah in East and West resulted at times in a confusion of belief concerning his station on the part of believers. Realizing the purity of the spirit animating his word and deed, surrounded by religious influences marking the breakdown of their traditional doctrines, a number of Baha'is felt that they honored Abdu'l-Baha by likening him to a manifestation or hailing him as the return of Christ. Nothing caused him such intense grief as this failure to perceive that his capacity to serve Baha'u'llah proceeded from the purity of the mirror turned to the Sun of Truth, and not from the Sun itself.
That is an extremely important point to make, that even in his day, there were people who looked to Abdu'l-Baha, looked at him as a manifestation of God. And yet he was vehemently, strong in correcting them that no, he is not. He is not. And so that is just an important point to make. And while Esselmont says it beautifully here, I think for me, at least on a personal level, the force or the importance of recognizing this is almost lost in the beauty of the words here. Nothing caused him such intense grief as this failure to perceive that his capacity to serve Baha'u'llah proceeded from the purity of the mirror turned to the Sun of Truth, and not from the Sun itself. In other words, Abdu'l-Baha says, no, it's not me.
Yeah.
If you see these positive qualities in me, it is only because I'm trying to reflect. Yes, I am a mirror of a reflection of the power and the glory of Baha'u'llah. And so it was important that people, even though obviously sometimes fell on deaf ears, but it's important to make that distinction.
Moreover, unlike previous dispensations, the faith of Baha'u'llah had within it the potency of a universal human society. During Abdu'l-Baha's mission covering the period 1892 to 1921, the faith evolved through successive stages of development in the direction of a true world order. Its development required continuous direction and specific instruction from Abdu'l-Baha, who alone knew the fullness of that new potent inspiration brought to earth in this age, until his own will and testament was revealed after Abdu'l-Baha's departure from the flesh, and its significance was expounded by Shoghi Effendi, the guardian of the faith. The Baha'is almost inevitably attributed to their beloved master's guidance a degree of spiritual authority equaling that of the manifestation. The effects of such naive enthusiasm are no longer felt within the Baha'i community, but a sounder realization of the mystery of that incomparable devotion and servitude. The Baha'is can today all the more consciously appreciate the unique character of the mission which Abdu'l-Baha fulfilled. The faith which in 1892 seemed so weak and helpless in the physical exile and imprisonment of its exemplar and interpreter has since, with irresistible power, raised up communities in many countries and challenges the weakness of a decaying civilization with a body of teachings that alone reveal the future of a despairing humanity. The will and testament of Abdu'l-Baha itself set forth with complete clarity the mystery of the stations of the Bab and of Baha'u'llah and his own mission. This is the foundation of the belief of the people of Baha. May my life be offered up for them. His Holiness, the Exalted One, the Bab, is the manifestation of the unity of the oneness of God and the forerunner of the ancient beauty. His Holiness Abdu'l-Baha may my life be sacrificed for his steadfast friends, is the supreme manifestation of God and the dayspring of his most divine essence. All others are servants unto him and do his bidding. By this statement and by numerous others in which Abdu'l-Baha emphasized the importance of basing one's knowledge of the faith upon his general tablets, a foundation for unity of belief was established, with the result that differences of understanding caused by reference to his tablets to individuals in which the master answered personal questions rapidly disappeared. Above all, the establishment of a definite administrative order with the guardian at its head transferred to institutions all authority previously wielded in the form of prestige and influence by individual Baha'is in the various local groups.
And obviously that's the end of this section of this chapter. But I want to go back up to that statement that was said that El Salmant wrote. The faith, which in 1892 seemed so weak and helpless, in the physical exile and imprisonment of its exemplar and interpreter, that being Abdu'l-Baha, in the physical exile and imprisonment of its exemplar and interpreter, has since, with irresistible power, raised up communities in many countries and challenges the weakness of a decaying civilization with a body of teachings that alone reveal the future of a despairing humanity. And where it says raised up communities in many countries, there's an asterisk. Now, this isn't, it's not an old edition, but I believe this was published in 2000. This is the 2006 edition. And it says in 2006, and this is an asterisk and a little footnote at the bottom, 191 independent states and 45 dependent territories or overseas departments, meaning raised up communities in many countries. And of course, 2006, do the math, that's 18 years ago. It has only grown since then. Now, again, let's think about that contrast. The faith which in 1892 seemed so weak and helpless in the physical exile and imprisonment of its exemplar and interpreter has only grown. And that's why it is an accurate statement to say that while certainly the Baha'i faith is not the, as numerically the largest religion, it is the most widespread religion, second to Christianity, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. Because people around the globe, in many different countries and municipalities and so forth, are practicing the Baha'i faith. And I had an interesting conversation, again with Kathy Hoganson, not this morning, but before, in which she pointed out something that, for someone to officially be registered as a Baha'i, there is the filling out of a form.
Right.
Okay. And she pointed out something. When we're stating numbers, whatever numbers are stated, it's generally a reference, and I hope I'm not misquoting her here, this is more of a paraphrase or my interpretation of what she said, is generally a number of registered Baha'is. But she said there are many others that because of where they live, nations that exactly are not registered, and yet quietly study and practice the Baha'i faith. So again, there's just that spreading from the time of seeing that, okay, if you were someone who was a powerful enemy of the faith, you might have thought, we finally have squashed this thing. And now it's worldwide. I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I see you have put your picture instrument up. I always like to point out that this song, first of all, these are words of Abdu'l-Baha, but as we usually do, original songs, this is not one of those. This is from the friend. I have music by Mike Derry and Friends. I think their group is actually called the New Power Generation.
I don't know.
But it's called Let All Associate. And these are the words of Abdu'l-Baha. associate, therefore, in this great human garden, even as flowers grow and live together, side by side. Let all associate, therefore, in this great human garden, even as flowers grow and blend together, side by side. Love ye all religions and all races with a love that is true, true and sincere, and show that love through deeds, and show that love. Love ye all religions and all races with a love that is true, true and sincere, and show that love through deeds, and show that love. Let all associate, therefore, in this great human garden, even as flowers grow and blend together, side by side. Even as flowers grow and blend together, side by side. Even as flowers grow and blend together, side by side. It'll be a great day when we see that people, love all ye all religions. And again, these words are words straight from the writings of Abdu'l-Baha. Well, to continue, I didn't say hello to Gilbert. I didn't say hello to Kim, and I see that I saw some other people come in the Facebook stream, but it's too far away for me to read. So, but good morning to all of you who have arrived recently.
Can you pick up for
Sure.
Exemplar?
This is the last section of this chapter, so we're going to be finishing with reading about Abdu'l-Baha today. And this is that part that I was referring to as being, giving a lot more insight about why he is so important and that we understand his importance in the Baha'i faith and as an example to follow. Exemplar of Baha'i life. Baha'u'llah was preeminently the revealer of the word. His 40 years imprisonment gave him but limited opportunities of intercourse with his fellow men. I'm going to read that again, okay? He's revealing the word, most of which was in times of captivity. Baha'u'llah was preeminently the revealer of the word. His 40 years imprisonment gave him but limited opportunities of intercourse with his fellow men. To Abdu'l-Baha, therefore, fell the important task of becoming the exponent of the revelation, the doer of the word, the great exemplar of the Baha'i life in actual contact with the world of today, in the most diverse phases of its myriad activities. He, Abdu'l-Baha, he showed that it is still possible amid the whirl and rush of modern life amid the self-love and struggle for material prosperity that everywhere prevail, it is still possible to live the life of entire devotion to God and to the service of one's fellows, which Christ and Baha'u'llah and all the prophets have demanded of men. Wow. He showed that it is still possible amid the whirl and rush of modern life, amid the self-love and struggle for material prosperity that everywhere prevail, to live the life of entire devotion to God and to the service of one's fellows, which Christ and Baha'u'llah and all the prophets have demanded of men. Through trial and vicissitudes, calumnies and treachery on the one hand, and through love and praise, devotion and veneration on the other, he, again Abdu'l-Baha, he stood like a lighthouse founded on a rock, around which wintry tempests rage and the summer ocean plays, his poise and serenity remaining ever steadfast and unshaken. He lived the life of faith and calls on his followers to live it here and now. He raised amid a warring world the banner of unity and peace, the standard of a new era. And he assures those who rally to its support that they shall be inspired by the spirit of the new day. It is the same Holy Spirit which inspired the prophets and saints of old, but it is a new outpouring of that spirit suited to the needs of the new time. And there we read the importance of Abdu'l-Baha and the power of the example that he set. And again, I'll repeat, until I read this, it's not like, we've read books by Abdu'l-Baha, but as far as he as a person, the importance beyond his writings, the importance that he was a living example to attest to the truth that, not a manifestation of God, but he's that living example that we can look to that shows us that, yeah, this is what we're supposed to be trying to do. This is what we're supposed to be aspiring to. Yeah. And it's possible. It's possible. At the same time, I'll go ahead and say that reading this, I feel so inadequate, so terribly inadequate. And yet we still have to keep trying. Abdu'l-Baha. And now, that being said, this is that time when we, of course, always like to allow anyone who would like to share a prayer or a reading or a song of your choosing. This is that time. And normally we would be having our Andy Murphy moment, but Andy Murphy is not with us today. And I thought Vicky might be here, but she's not with us either. So our songbirds are not with us today. So is there anyone who would like to share, again, a prayer or reading of your choosing, or even a song if you are so moved? This is that time. I'm going to put this down and do what Nuni would normally be doing. Let's see. Oh, wrong. There we are. You know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to read some more from the words of Baha'u'llah. We have a little bit of time, just a little bit, but a little bit of time. Earlier in our this morning's gathering, I again read from some of the writings of Baha'u'llah. And I think I'm going to do that again, going to just continue. And this, this speaks again, it really is relevant to what we just read about Abdu'l-Baha, but this is coming from Baha'u'llah, and this is part of one of his letters to some of the leaders of the world at that time. Know ye that the poor are the trust of God in your midst. Watch that ye betray not his trust, that ye deal not unjustly with them, and that ye walk not in the ways of the treacherous. Ye will most certainly be called upon to answer his trust on the day when the balance of justice shall be set, the day when unto every one shall be rendered his due, when the doings of men, be they rich or poor, shall be weighed. And to go further down, Baha'u'llah is speaking of his cause, and he says, examine our cause, inquire into the things that have befallen us. Remember that Baha'u'llah was in prison for most of his life. Examine our cause, inquire into the things that have befallen us, and decide justly between us and our enemies. And be ye of them that act equitably towards their neighbor. If ye stay not the hand of the oppressor, if ye fail to safeguard the rights of the downtrodden, what right have ye then to vaunt yourselves among men? What is it of which ye can rightly boast? Is it on your food and your drink that ye pride yourselves? On the riches ye lay up in your treasuries? On the diversity and the cost of the ornaments with which ye deck yourselves? If true glory were to consist in the possession of such perishable things, then the earth on which ye walk must needs vaunt itself over you, because it supplieth you and bestoweth upon you these very things by the decree of the Almighty. And then here at the end of this passage, he says, by him who holdeth in his grasp the kingdom of the entire creation, nowhere doth your true and abiding glory reside, except in your firm adherence unto the precepts of God, your wholehearted observance of his laws, your resolution to see that they do not remain unenforced, and to pursue steadfastly the right course. So again, those are words from Baha'u'llah. Again, there's this collection of letters that he wrote to various leaders of the world. And it's just some really, really powerful writings that shows the standard that even leaders of today should be following. And I just think they're absolutely beautiful. And with all that being said, I'm assuming there's no one else that wants to offer up a prayer or reading? No? Okay. Well then, this is that time that we always like to point out, hang on, that this is just not a couple of guys who coincidentally end up wearing the same color shirt very often. It happens a lot. Not a couple of guys that just decided we want to teach get online and teach. We're simply doing what we as Baha'is are supposed to do within whatever capacity it may be. There are many different ways to teach. Not everyone has devotions. Not everyone goes online. There are other ways to teach as well. But we like to point out that it is a joint community effort, which brings together people from a variety of communities. And you can join us, of course, through the kindness of the Clearwater Baha'is. They allow us to stream through their Zoom gathering, and then they repost it on YouTube. Okay. And we also stream through Facebook at the same time, which those two together present some issues, but that's a whole nother issue. And if you would like to get more information about the Baha'i Faith, is there any way that people can go, or anywhere people can go to find out more about the Baha'i Faith?
Sure, there are. There are several definitive websites, and they are www.baha'i.us, www.baha'i.org, www.bahaiteachings.org. And if you happen to be in the Tampa Bay area, or anywhere actually, and you would like more information, you can always go to the Clearwater Baha'i website at www.clearwaterbaha'is.org.
Okay. All righty. We've still got a few minutes, Daryl.
Well, I'd also like to say the Clearwater Baha'i website is a very important site, because they delineate other activities that are going on in the Baha'i communities. And one of the things that they do is after our program on Sundays, there's another program which is hosted typically by Gilbert, and he talks about those issues that are prevalent in Baha'i life and how you can apply the Baha'i writings to your everyday life. And they're always very interesting discussions.
Yes, yes, they are. And
So when we're done today, you can always go to the Clearwater Baha'i website and join them.
And one thing I forget is they also have some things going on various evenings. I get their notices and I never see them in time, but I'll get a text about it and then I'll see it afterwards. Usually I'm doing something. But anyway, looks like the weather has changed once again. I mean, not from this morning, but from the earlier colder days. And looks like maybe today seems to be ushering a little bit of spring, even though it's not yet springtime, but it kind of feels like a spring day out there.
He's waiting for me. He's waiting for me to tell you that if you are loved, you are truly, truly blessed.
There we go.
If you share that love, everything and everyone around you is blessed. And the one thing that you can do to improve conditions in the world in general, not just in your world, but in the world in general, is to share that love. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Please, just share the love.
Absolutely.
It's simple. It's not going to cost you anything. And why wouldn't you do it if you know that it's going to improve your world?
Exactly. Justice, be as brilliant as the light, and as splendid as the fire that blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin. Beseech God that he may shield his creatures from the evil designs of his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Watch over yourselves. For the evil one is lying in wait, ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices, and led by the light of the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surroundeth you. Let your vision be world-embracing, rather than confined to your own self. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. Be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Have a good week, folks. Take care.
Allahu Akbar.